Adolf Hitler, a name that reverberates through history as a symbol of tyranny and destruction, rose from unexpectedly ordinary beginnings that concealed the dark journey he was to embark upon. Born in Braunau am Inn, a small town straddling the Austrian-German border, in April of 1889, Hitler was the offspring of a stern customs official father and a gentle, nurturing mother. His life was devoid of extraordinary circumstances, representing a typical childhood of his era. Hitler displayed a budding passion for the arts at a young age, dreaming of a painter's life, much to his father's disappointment, who envisaged a civil service career for his son. After his father's death, Hitler relocated to Vienna to chase his artistic aspirations, only to face rejection twice from the prestigious Vienna Academy of Fine Arts. This critical period of struggle and denial in Vienna marked the genesis of Hitler's ideological evolution. The Vienna of the early 20th century was a breeding ground for German nationalism and anti-Semitism, ideologies that made a profound impact on Hitler's impressionable mind. He was deeply influenced by theorists who championed the Aryan race's supremacy and portrayed Jews as an existential menace to Germanic purity. These ideologies later became the pillars of the destructive policies that Hitler implemented as the Führer of the Third Reich. However, the ideological indoctrination of Vienna was not the sole factor shaping Hitler. His trials of poverty, homelessness, and for survival on the grime-filled streets of the city molded his character and fortified his determination, girding him for the tumultuous years that lay ahead. Hitler's life, therefore, was a crucible forging the man who would ultimately ignite the deadliest conflict in human history, World War II. These early life experiences served as a chilling prelude to a larger, horrific spectacle of history, underscoring the devastating consequences of Hitler's radical ideologies and the profound significance of his early influences in shaping the course of global history. The First World War wreaked havoc on Germany, leaving the nation in a disarray that provided fertile ground for extreme ideologies to flourish. Amidst this pandemonium, a young Adolf Hitler discovered a small but politically potent faction known as the German Workers' Party. This group, though minor at its inception, was a hotbed for radical thought and fervent nationalism. It was here that Hitler began his political journey, initially undertaking low-key intelligence tasks, such as spying for the German army by monitoring the party's meetings. As he attended more meetings, he became deeply attracted by the party's passion and fervor. His involvement grew as he started speaking at gatherings and sharing his vision of a stronger, more powerful Germany. Hitler's charisma was irresistible. His speeches, packed with fervent rhetoric and promises of a brighter future, drew larger crowds. He soon became a prominent figure within the party, his name becoming synonymous with the ideals of the German Workers' Party. However, Hitler's aspirations didn't stop here. He saw potential in the party and was determined to exploit it. In 1921, after a series of strategic moves, Hitler ascended to the party's leadership. By then, the party had been renamed Socialist German Workers' Party, or the Nazi Party. Under Hitler's leadership, the Nazi Party's influence expanded significantly. Hitler's vision of a powerful, unified Germany under Aryan rule resonated with many Germans who were struggling with humiliation of the Treaty of Versailles and grappling with economic instability. Over time, Hitler and his followers manipulated this national discontent, using it as a springboard for their rise to power. Using his charismatic appeal and a nuanced understanding of public sentiments, Hitler became a formidable political force. The historical significance of his rise within the Nazi Party cannot be overstated, as it had profound and catastrophic consequences that forever shifted the course of world history. Adolf Hitler's ascendancy to power in 1933 signaled the commencement of a tormented epoch for Germany and the international community. Let's explore the factual accuracy of his rise to power and the consequential events that catalyzed the onset of World War II. In January of 1933, Hitler assumed the position of Chancellor of Germany, a decision heavily influenced by political maneuvering from other prominent figures who naively believed they could harness Hitler and his zealous supporters. Their underestimation of his ambitions would eventually prove fatal. Upon his appointment, Hitler requested fresh elections, aiming to achieve an overriding majority in the Reichstag. His real consolidation of power, however, came with the Reichstag Fire Decree and the ensuing Enabling Act. The decree, executed in reaction to a questionable fire at the Reichstag building, resulted in the suspension of numerous civil liberties, enabling Hitler to suppress his political adversaries. Following this was the Enabling Act. Ratified in March of the same year, it permitted Hitler and his cabinet to implement laws without the Reichstag's approval, effectively transforming Hitler's government into a legal dictatorship. Hitler further fortified his power over the upcoming years, eradicating potential contenders during the Night of the Long Knives, and eventually amalgamating the roles of President and Chancellor after President Hindenburg's demise. By 1934, Hitler had established himself as the Führer, the conclusive despot of Germany. 1939, Hitler's Germany trespassed Poland, igniting the flame that would ultimately plunge the world into a catastrophic war. This infringement of Poland's sovereignty prompted Britain and France to declare war on Germany, thereby formally initiating World War II. Hitler's aggressive foreign policies and expansionist ideology were fundamental catalysts leading to the war. His envisioning of a German-dominated Europe founded on principles of racial purity and ruthless dictatorship set the world on an unprecedented path to destruction. As the world descended into war, Hitler's vision of a German-dominated Europe began to materialize, marking a dark period in human history. Under Adolf Hitler's brutal regime, the gravity of his crimes against humanity peaked with the Holocaust, a systematic genocide that led to the murder of 6 million Jews. This horrifying act was part of Hitler's malevolent design, known as the Final Solution, which was explicitly crafted and ruthlessly executed with a singular aim: the annihilation of the Jewish people. Concentration camps like Auschwitz and Dachau were transformed into factories of mass murder. The scope of atrocities committed, families ripped apart, communities decimated, and a heritage nearly extinguished, are unparalleled in history. The Holocaust left indelible marks on its survivors and forever changed the Jewish community. The echoes of this trauma reverberate still, an enduring testament to humanity's capacity for evil. As World War II progressed, Hitler's once ironclad grasp on power began to wane. The invasion of Normandy by the Allies in June 1944 marked a turning point, and by early 1945 they were poised to seize Hitler's stronghold, Berlin. Facing inevitable defeat, Hitler refused to surrender. Instead, he retreated to his bunker, where he is historically recorded to have committed suicide on April 30th, 1945, thus terminating his reign of terror. However, the end of Hitler's life didn't signify an immediate cessation to the war, or alleviate the suffering of those entrapped in concentration camps. It required considerable time for the Allies to liberate the camps and for the global community to comprehend the full scale of the atrocities committed. Left to confront the aftermath of a genocide that had eradicated a significant population and irrevocably altered the course of history, the world began to grapple with the implications of Hitler's reign. The end of his rule marked the conclusion of a horrifying epoch that had claimed millions of lives and permanently scarred the world. Adolf Hitler's reign is historically significant as a chilling example of devastation and inhumanity, powerfully illustrating the perils of unrestrained authority and extreme ideologies. The aftermath of World War II witnessed the prosecution of high-ranking Nazi officials during the Nuremberg trials. These trials were unprecedented in international law, holding those in power accountable for their war crimes. They served as a global declaration of commitment to ensure that such horrific acts would never occur again. The denazification process in Germany was a concerted attempt to eradicate the poisonous ideology of Hitler. This process was not just about punishment, but also about restructuring German society, government and culture, with the objective of preventing a re-emergence of such destructive patterns. The lasting legacy rule has left a profound impact on Germany and the world at large. It has shaped our understanding of power, politics, and human rights, significantly influencing international relations and legal norms. Though Hitler's reign in 1945, the lessons drawn from his ascent to power and the atrocities committed during his rule continue to echo in our global consciousness, reminding us of the consequences of his brutal regime.